Welcome back everyone, I'm KPlays Games, this is EVE Online, and today we're starting a new series of ship fitting guides. We have done a huge series of ship fitting guides in the dim and distant past 3 years ago and more. Some of the ships have had their stats changed because, of course, EVE Online is a living, breathing game, despite rumours to the contrary, and some of the ships have been rebalanced, so we're going to have to change our fits anyway to keep up with the new meta. And I also want to show you different fits for the ships. For instance, if we did a long range sniping fit last time, maybe we'll try a medium range brawler or a close range brawler this time, just to show you that there are more than one viable fit for any ship. And the third reason I'm going to redo this series is that some of the older videos have long gaps of silence in them, which is not really my fault, that's copyright issues that are out of my hands. So for all those reasons, we're going to be doing the whole lot again. We're going to start with Tech 1 cruisers. Then we're going to do Tech 1 combat battle cruisers, maybe the attack battle cruisers as well, and then we'll do the Tech 1 battleships. And these will be specifically designed to run level 2, level 3 and level 4 security missions, because as we know, different tasks require different fits. Instead of doing everything randomly this time, I have made a manual list. It is sorted alphabetically first by faction, so Amar is the first one, and then alphabetically by ship, so Amar, and then Arbitrator. And then the next video we'll do will be Caldari, because that's the next alphabetical faction, and in alphabetical order, their first ship will be Caracal, and so on. That's why the ships appear to be in a random order, but it actually makes some sense. So, we're going to be doing an Arbitrator today, so let's take a look at an Arbitrator. And this is the Arbitrator ship information page, and when we have a look at the overview, this will show us the traits. So per skill level of Amar cruiser, this will get 7.5% bonus to weapon disruptor effectiveness in most PVE, and especially the PVE we are going to be doing, which is level 2 security missions. This is not quite so important, so we don't really need to worry about that. The thing that is important is per level of Amar cruiser skill, we are getting a 10% bonus to drone hit points, drone damage, and drone mining yield. Mining yield, not important at all, but 10% bonus to drone hit points and damage per level is really rather nice. So this is like the Amar's drone cruiser. And if we have a look at the fitting tab, all this weirdness on the left hand side, don't know what all these little dots are supposed to indicate because they don't match up with the actual slots, so I don't know. But anyway, this ship has 4 high power slots, and it has 2 turret slots and 3 missile slots. So you're going to have to pick. You can do like 2 lasers and 2 missiles, or 3 missiles and something else, or 2 lasers and 2 of something else, like drone link augmenters or tractor beams or whatever else you so desire. It has 4 medium power slots. That's quite nice, because it is an E-War based cruiser, and E-War stuff is all mid slots like weapon disruptors. This does give us quite a few options, which is nice, and 5 low power slots, which is also pretty good. And the drone bay on this ship is 150 cubic meters, which is rather a lot. Now, the annoying thing is that it doesn't actually tell you the drone bandwidth on this. That is hidden away in the attributes tab. So we'll take a look at the attributes tab, scroll down, here it is. Drone bandwidth 50 megabits a second. Now, like drones only use 5 megabits a second, so we can have the maximum possible 5 of these, and that will be 25 megabits. And we've got more than enough drone capacity in the drone bay to hold lots of medium drones as well, so we can use 5 medium drones, and that will be 50 megabytes a second, so that's pretty nice. So anyway, let's simulate the ship and make it fit. Now, the last time we did an Arbitrator, we definitely did a very long range fit with heavy missile launchers and really long range drones, and it was hitting everything from like 70 kilometers. We'd warp into any mission and just not move, or run away really fast and then kill everything from 70 kilometers. Let's do a little bit more close range this time. Now, we know from the traits we don't get any bonuses to any weapons we put in the high slots, so what we put in the high slots really doesn't matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually take care of the low slots. I'm going to take care of the tank of this ship. Because it has more low slots than the medium slots, that kind of pushes me towards thinking we should do an armor tank. So we're going to do a basic armor tank. We'll go to the hardware tab and modules. Now, all of these fittings are going to be alpha friendly and hopefully low skill and low cost as well. So brand new players, you can join in with this fun if you wish. So, hull and armour. Armour repairers, medium, we're going to want an enduring medium armour repairer. And to boost the resistances, because the armour resistances are only 50, 35, 25 and 20 respectively. That's not great. So we'll get an armour hardener and we'll put a reactive armour hardener on this ship. Now the way this module works is that it starts off providing 15% to each of your armour resistances, and it moves these 60 points around depending on what you're being shot with. So every 5 seconds, which is the activation time, it will move 12 of these 60 points away from what is not being shot at you and put it towards what you are being shot with. Most NPCs will be dish out 2 different types of damage, so we'll end up as 30 and 30 after a few cycles, which is quite nice. It just lets you get away with using only a single module for your resistances, so that's what we're going to do. Now if we look in the top right, our capacitor is depleting in 3 minutes, simply because we only have these 2 modules, so that's pretty bad. So we'll deal with that. We'll go to engineering equipment, capacitor batteries large, and we'll fire on a large compact cat battery. Boom! Capacitor now very happy. Drones wise, we'll just go to drones. We'll get some light scout drones. We'll go for hobgoblin ones, and we'll make sure we get 5 of them. 5, thank you. And then we'll go to medium scout drones and we'll get some hammerheads, and we'll make sure we have at least 5 of those. Now that's only 75 cubic meters, so theoretically we could carry spares, like we could double up and go 10 hobgobs and 10 hammerheads. You can do that, or you can just have different flavours of drone, because each different type of drone does a different damage type. So you could carry, say, warriors for fighting Angel Cartel, because they do explosive damage. If we scroll all the way down, there you go, 20 explosive damage. I've gone for hobgoblins simply because they do thermal damage, and thermal damage is good against most enemies. Most enemies we'll be facing will either be kinetic or thermal. I think the only ones that are not susceptible to thermal are indeed Angel Cartel. Rogue drones, EM thermal, Gurustas, kinetic thermal, Serpentis, kinetic thermal, Amar ships, EM thermal, Sancha, Blood Raiders, everyone's like either EM thermal or kinetic thermal, other than the Angel Cartel. So if we find Angel Cartel enemies, we might swap over and do warriors and Valkyries. So that's the main offense, because we know that the ship is very much focused to drones. Now at the minute we're only getting 112.5 DPS. That's because we're only using our 5 light drones. So if we uncheck mark all these and check mark the 5 medium drones, we got to 180 DPS, which is still not great. So what we're going to do now is go to drone upgrades, and we're going to get a drone damage amplifier 1. Going to get a compact drone damage amplifier, and we're going to put no less than 3 of these things in. Now this warning triangle is telling us we are getting diminishing returns on fitting 3 of these because they're subject to the stacking penalty. Not a huge issue. Stacking penalty rules are as follows. The first module of the same type you put on a ship gets 100% of its bonus. The second one gets 87% of its bonus. The third one gets 57%. So 3 is fine. So the drone damage bonus, 17%, that will get multiplied by 0.57. So we're still going to get something like 9%. So that's fine. I'm quite happy with that. And that's pushed our offense up to 265. And we're going to want slightly more offense than that. So in the high slots, I think we're going to do missiles again. I know we're doing missiles and drones again, but can't really be helped. Now instead of being a long range ship, why don't we do something really short range, like heavy assault launchers? So if you get an arbalest, we'll do 3 of these. Because they're missiles, they don't use any capacitor, so the capacitor's still happy. Still got plenty of fitting space left. We'll go to charges, click the missile, select which one we want. Kinetic's always a good idea. When we mouse over, we see that the maximum flight range of our missiles is only 20 kilometers, so we're going to have to get up close to use these. And the offense has gone up to 349, which is alright. And when we mouse over it, we see that the missiles are only supplying 84.3 DPS. Not great, the drones a huge 265. But we knew the missiles were an ancillary weapon anyway, so that's fine. One other thing we could do would be to swap out the heavy assault launchers for rapid light missile launchers, and then load them up with Scourge light missiles. And now we see the DPS has gone down to 71.1 instead of 80 something, but the range has gone up to 42, and the application of these missile launchers is better than the heavy assault. Heavy assault apply quite well anyway. Now the problem you have with rapid light missile launchers is that their reload time is a whopping 35 seconds. So when you run out of ammo, you've got to sit there and wait 35 seconds for these things to reload. If we were on an actual missile bonus ship and could get the missile damage up nice and high, then you don't have to fire quite so many missiles. But because these are unbonused, we're not going to be using rapid lights. So I'm going to put the heavy assault back on. Okay, we need to get this ship moving because we need to bring the missiles into range. They are only giving us 84 DPS, but it would be nice to actually have things in range to apply that to. So we're going to go to propulsion. We're going to get a micro warp drive on this ship. We are going to fit a quad lift restrained micro warp drive, but the problem we now have is that our power grid is overloaded and we don't have a low slot left for a reactor control. We could look at doing a power grid rig, and that's maybe not a bad idea. So we'll go to rigs, engineering, medium engineering rigs. Good. One ancillary current router Tech 1 is enough to give us 70 power units spare. We've only got a few empty module slots to fill, so that's fine. Now, the capacitor does only last 2 minutes 33 now, but that's with everything running. If we turn off the micro warp drive, it's still stable, so happy days. Well, one other thing I should mention is that I am in an empty clone. I have no implants, so everything you're seeing is purely skill based. If you have the same skills as me, you'll get the same performance as me. So what are we going to do with our last two mid-power slots? Damage application would be quite a good idea, I think. So again, we'll go to drone upgrades because most of our damage comes from drones. I'd quite like our drones to be tough and tanky and really good at applying their damage. So what we're looking for here is a tracking link. How about an enduring tracking link? That sounds pretty good. A Denny enduring tracking link. And this increases the optimal range and the fall off range and the tracking speed of all of our drones. And if they fire missiles, it gives them an explosion velocity bonus and stuff like that. So it's really rather nice. So we'll do one of those. We still have one slot left. If we were in nullsec and going up against battleships in asteroid belts, then I might do a weapon disruptor, because that would wreck the tracking of these big battleships and make us very hard to hit as we get into range. But we're not doing nullsec stuff. We're doing level 2 security missions in high sec, so we don't need that. What can we do? We could get a missile guidance computer just to extend the range of our missiles. Let's do that. Missile guidance computer. We'll get a compact one on there. We're still cap stable. Happy days. And we'll put a script in that. So we'll click on the guidance computer. We'll get a missile range script. And now the missile range has gone up from 20 to 24. Ooh, wow. Was that worth it? Unsure. So what we can do, we can just remove the charge and leave it running empty, in which case it will provide flight time bonus, missile speed bonus, which are your range, and your missile explosion velocity and explosion radius, which is your damage application. It just makes them overall better. So the range is going to go down to 22, but they're going to apply better to smaller targets. And in level 2 missions, we're going to have quite a few small targets. That's quite good. I quite like that. That looks pretty nice. Right, we've got one remaining high slot. I'm not going to put a laser there. It's really not worth it. What can we do? Because I've got maximum skills, I do have a drone control range of 60 kilometers, so I don't really need anything above that. I don't need to put a drone link augmenter here to extend out to 70 like we did last time out 3 years ago. Could just put a tractor beam in there. Let's do that. Let's just search tractor beam 1. Boom, there we go. Turn it off because it's only going to be used to grab mission cans, even though we've got a micro warp drive for doing that anyway. But we'll do that. Last 2 rig slots, we're kept stable with the micro warp drive off. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to get a drone rig, because even though we want to be using the hammerheads more often than the hobgoblins, the problem is that these are larger drones, and larger drones attract more NPC aggression. And even though this ship does have bonuses to the hit points of the drones, I want to boost that even more. So we'll go to medium drone rigs, get a drone durability enhancer tech 1, slap that on the ship, and now the drones have a lot more hit points, which is nice. Are we going to need a better tank for ourselves? Possibly. So what we'll do, because we know we're going to be fighting in close range, and that means more of the enemies will be in range, because enemies tend to have short range weapons, we'll go to armor rigs and we'll get an auxiliary nano pump 1. What this does, this increases the amount which is repaired by this armor repairer each cycle. So without it, we're only repairing an average of 35.2 hit points a second. With that on, 40.5, which is nice. So this is giving us 15% more repairs per cycle, and it's not speeding up the cycle, so it's not eating any more capacitor. So the capacitor is still completely sustainable, which is happy. Right, I think that'll do us. I shall go and buy this, and then we'll take it out and run some level 2 missions. And here we are, one brand new Arbitrator. Looks a little bit goofy with these massive missile pods breaking up the sleek lines of this great looking ship, but there we are. So let's get a level 2 security mission, Pirate Intrusion. It's against Serpentis, so thermal's going to be lovely. It's in this system, we're being paid 210,000 ISK and 226,000 more if we do it within 3 hours and 42 minutes. And it's 465 loyalty points as well. 3 hours and 42 minutes tells us that the game thinks it's like medium hard. Time bonuses go up to 6 hours for the longest and hardest missions, so 3 hours 42 is medium hard. So let's accept and try out our new fit. I have arranged the drones into folders. There's one with all the little ones, and there's one with all the medium ones. I've put the tractor beam all the way out here so I don't misclick and accidentally try and tractor beam something in a mission. Everything's all sorted. I don't usually put skins on the Mars ships because I think they look perfectly fine as they are, but we can always have a look at skins. So we'll go to the personalization tab, and I've just been picking up a few skins. There's the Amar Navy, black and white. I still hate that this preview window is so slow, is so small, and the ship, you can't even see the ship unless you zoom all the way out, which makes it absolutely rubbish. In fact, the best way to have a look at skins these days is to go through the show info, because the model on the show info page is better than the one on the fitting page. You've got this one, makes it look like a Hot Wheels toy car from the 1980s. Yeah, that's not too bad. Cold Iron instantly turns any ship into the Batmobile, so there we are. I've seen Dawn, Imperial Navy. Let's do the Imperial Navy, why not? Ooh, nice. Right.
Warp drive.
That's enough of that. Let's go and kill some bad guys. Because we know we're cap stable with everything but the micro warp drive running, I'm just going to turn on basically everything. You can be lazy because of this one module. Remember, this is the only capacitor module we have on our entire fit. We don't even have any capacitor rigs. We've got a fitting rig, but nothing else. So this one module is running everything else on the ship. Ooh, acceleration gate. Okay, that means we're going to get dropped off by this acceleration gate at a predetermined distance from the bad guys.
Warp drive active.
At the moment, we are in winter, so we are getting the winter nexus effects of 25% reduced heat damage from overheating. Not that I think we're going to have to overheat. And a 10% increase in ship thermal resists. So that's nice. So bear that in mind. Our thermal resistances are 10% better than they would be normally. Okay, that's quite a lot of bad guys. I'm just going to approach the gate, and I'm going to put out my little drones first to get rid of all the little targets. I'm going to turn on the micro warp drive just for one cycle and then turn it back off again. Just to bring my missiles into range of this cruiser, which is now in range. I'll kill the cruiser, the drones need to kill everything else. We'll just zoom in, there you go. Drones getting it done. The missiles look like they're doing a good job, but that is an armour tank ship, so the amount of damage that the missiles are doing will drop off. Actually, no, they're actually doing a good job. Well done, missiles. And the drones are doing what drones do. The drones are being shot, so we'll bring them back to Control R to recall the drones. Something has aggressed my little droneses. But we had plenty of time to realise that because we have invested in a durability rig and because the ship itself is giving them durability as well, so the drones are actually quite tough. Right, well, we've killed the cruiser with our tiny little missiles, so let's just approach the next target, just so we're moving just a little bit, just to reduce the incoming damage a little bit. We don't have to worry about transversal or angular velocity or any of that nonsense in this ship, because we're not using turrets, we're using missiles. Okay, we are going to have to approach that and turn the micro warp drive on to get our missiles within range. So we know our missiles only have a range of 22 kilometers. Here we are, we're within range now. The one thing I could have done is plumped for Caldari drones. Because we're using the Amar drones that do thermal. I could have gone for the ones that do kinetic. And it's for a specific reason. If we have a look at the Hornet drones, which is the kinetic drones, their shield capacity is 180. And if we have a look at the Hobgoblins we're using, their shield capacity is only 50 because they are armour tanked. And unfortunately for the drones, they don't actually repair themselves. Well, their armour doesn't, their shield does. So if we had done Caldari drones on this ship, because we know we have 10% bonus to their shield hit points from the every level of a Mar Cruiser, so I have a Mar Cruiser 5, so we get 50% more shield hit points from that, and the rig we fitted adds another how much? Another 20% on top. That means that Caldari drones can actually shield tank quite well. They'll be able to repair their own shields. As we see, this drone that had been taking shield damage has now almost repaired itself. So if we'd done Caldari drones, maybe we wouldn't have to recall them quite so fast because they've got a lot more shield hit points. And because of the way shields work, the more shield hit points you have, the faster they regenerate. So maybe our drones can actually permanently tank the amount of damage they were taking. Maybe we'll try that in the next mission. That's maybe not a bad idea. Okay, well these guys are all very far away, so let's just approach them, turn the micro drive on. I'm just going to turn the armour repairer off at the moment because that's the thing that chews most. Now, let's approach this cruiser actually and target lock it. Get the fight underway. There we are, we're in range. I'll fire with my missiles. Hold control, drag a box in space, lock everything else up. Right, we're close enough now. Turn the micro warp drive off. Turn the armour repairer back on. Spit out the drones, get them to kill the destroyers. Oh, there's a Corelli Guardian Guard. Now, these are elite frigates. As we see, elite frigates have massive resistances, really, really high resists. They're very rare in level 2 missions. And the other problem with elite enemies is that they tend to annihilate the drones very quickly. So what we're going to have to do is bring the drones back. Then I'm going to have to grab aggro with these guys with my missiles and hope that they don't switch to the drones. Just going to approach the other cruiser. Turn my micro warp drive on for a squirt. Okay, looks like all the elite stuff has aggressed me. So send the drones out, get them to shoot the same target as me, because we need to get rid of these elite things as soon as we can. You see it's taking a very long time to kill because it's got massive resistances, which is really annoying. But it's going down. And it's still shooting at us and not our drones. How would we know if it shoots the drones? Well, A, we'll notice that the drones suddenly take huge damage. And B, the enemy will stop being surrounded by a red box, and that red box will change to a yellow box, which indicates they've only got us target locked and they're not shooting at us. And that would indicate they're actually shooting at the drones. So if you see something that is red box change to a yellow, panic, because that means they're shooting at your drones. We'll let the drones kill that thing on their own, and I'll start killing the cruisers of this next group, which have all aggressed me as well. There we go. Lovely. Now I see why we were given over 3.5 hours to do this mission. Elite frigates is the reason. Quite nasty, actually. Okay, the drones have almost killed that previous group. There's one more group up here which have not aggressed, so I'm just going to approach them. Okay, one of them's aggressed, so we'll get the drones to kill the one that's aggressed. 2 have aggressed. 3 of the frigates up there have not aggressed. Oh, okay, the drones literally one-shotted that guy, so I'll take that. Okay, our drones are nice. A, because they're getting 50% bonus damage from our fit, and B, because they're getting increased accuracy from this tracking link, which is why they're doing stuff like that. Lovely. That warbling sound is the shields down warning. It never goes away. It's very annoying, and I wish it wasn't a thing. But there we are. Job done. Right, let's go and get some Caldari drones, and then we'll see about their shields. And during that fight, our reactive armor hardener did indeed end up at 30 in 30. Here's a side-by-side look at the difference between a hobgoblin and a hornet, especially the shields. Now, these stats are in green because they're actually fitted to the ship, so they're getting bonuses from the rigs and the ship. So the base value is 50, so the Hobgoblin 1 has gone up to 112.5 hit points, which is lovely. And the Hornet 1 has gone up from 180 base value to 405 hit points, which is damn near 4 times more shield than the Hobgoblin do. And you will notice that the shield recharge time is the same for both of them. So it takes 125 seconds for these Hornets to go from 0 hit points to 405, and it takes 125 seconds for the Hobgoblins to go from 0 to 112. So that's less than 1 hit point a second for the Hobgoblins. But the Hornets is damn near 4 hit points a second. That might be enough to permanently tank. We shall see in the next mission. And the next mission is Silence the Informant. It's only 1 jump away, that's nice. We're getting paid 214,400 loyalty points for this, with another 201,000 if we do it within 3 hours 12. So again, a middle difficulty mission. Let's accept and get out there. And this will be against mercenaries who are weakest to kinetic, so it's another good reason why we bought the Caldari drones. Again, just to compare and contrast, here is the Hammerhead medium drone and the Vespa medium drone. On the left, Hammerhead, shield capacity 225, recharges in 200 seconds, so it's at 1.01 hit points a second regen on their shields. and the Vespa medium drone have a stonkingly huge 810 shield hit points. That's impressive for a drone. And that also recharges in 200 seconds, so it's just over 4 hit points a second. So we'll see how these guys do in this mission.
Warp drive active.
Because you know we're cap stable with everything running, we'll just turn everything on, because why not? We can afford to be that lazy. I'm not hiding the passive modules because I want you to be able to see the fit, and I'm not grouping the weapons for the same reason. We have another acceleration gate. Okay, we're going to be dropped off at a predetermined point in space. That's fine. Usually means right in the middle of a big ball of bad guys.
Warp drive
We don't
active.
mind that. We have a cap stable tank, and we've got very durable drones, so I don't care if we get dropped off in the middle of a big ball of bad guys. Well, there's only 4 bad guys here that have spawned. They're not that far away, and they're little drones. Okay. Just more little drones. That's fine. Yeah, let's put out the... I should really put out the thermal drones to kill the thermal weakness drones, but I kind of want to use the Caldari drones for this. I'm just going to approach the gate. That's close enough. Our little drones are just not having an issue. Just chewing their way through all these rogue drones. Lovely. This will be over quite quickly, I think. No reinforcements, so we'll bring the drones back. And we'll get through the gate.
Warp drive active.
Okay, just 2 bad guys here. They're quite some distance away, so we're going to have to approach them. Turn the armor repairer off, turn the micro warp drive on, hold control, drag a box. Spit out the light kinetic drones and get them to have a go. Now, their name is Mercenary Elite Fighter, but they're not actually elite. They don't actually have the huge resistances that we saw in the previous mission. They're just called Elite Fighters. These are not actually elite. If they were, we'd be in trouble, because that's quite a lot of elite frigates. Let's get up here. That's the shields at 50% warning. Don't really care about that. Right, these guys are in range to get a box drawn on them now. Drones are killing this lot. Let's approach this lot all the way up here. Long distances in this mission, but that's fine. We have a long drone control range. If you don't have the same skills as me and you don't have your drone control range at 60 kilometers, feel free to get rid of the small tractor beam and replace it with a drone link augmenter. A Tech 1 drone link augmenter will add 20 kilometers to your drone control range bonus. Good, everything's aggressed me. That means I can approach the gate now. That's fine. I don't think anything's actually shot at our drones, but that's good. We're an armour tank ship and the shields haven't even gone down yet. That is slightly outside our drone control range, which is why the drones have gone idle. Even though it is aggressing me, and our drones, if we check this, are set to auto attack. They can't auto attack on targets that are outside of drone control range. Now it's back in range. Now we can send them there. And almost immediately they'll be coming right back. No reinforcements. Lovely. I don't think I've fired a single missile in this mission yet. It's all been the drones. That's why drone ships are cool. And here they come.
Warp drive active.
Okay, just, what, one gun turret, one ship, and one mobile residence, which is a dead space overseer structure, which is what all mission-specific structures should be. Let's put out the medium drones this time, shall we? We'll just blow that guy up first. And then we'll get the tower. And then the mobile residence. In fact, I'm in range to shoot the tower with my missiles, so I'm going to do so. And we can probably just stop the ship. And quite often in missions, instead of them being overseers' structures, they are things like large collidable objects. And in many missions, if you have large collidable objects turned on, then that means your overview is going to be cluttered with all this nonsense like tiny rock and ship carcass and rock formation, as well as the thing you actually want to destroy. So I usually have that turned off, which means I sometimes cannot find the mission object. Boom, that's exploded. There's like a cargo container. Let's use our tractor beam. There we go. If anything was shooting at the drones, it didn't do very much damage because I'm not even registering anything. Right, drones, come back. So I think all mission-specific buildings should be dead space overseer structures, and it's something the developers really need to fix. Let's have a look what's in this cargo can. Just some absolute garbage ammunition. Right, let's leave. So let's complete that mission and complete this video. This ship works really well. Last time out, 3 years ago, we made it into a long-range sniper. Today, we've made it into a high-speed, short-range brawler, and it works absolutely fine, as we knew it would. Level 2 missions are not the most difficult things, but they are kind of designed with cruisers in mind, and this cruiser handled it absolutely fine. So come back next time and see what cruiser we make next time. Until then, do look after yourself, and I'll speak to you again soon.